Hello everyone and welcome back to Aarklash Legacy. We defeated the Chimera last time, and now I think it's time to head back to Leglorus. He said he would accompany us when we've done the deed, and we've done the deed, so... let's see.
You have done the guild a great service. Without your aid, we all would have perished. But will you now accompany us to find the patrons? Are you still pledged? Does your contract still pull you to serve the guild?
I will lead you to the hold, but no blood contract binds me. It is mine own words that bind me. I brought this curse upon myself.
Leglorus, you have served the guild well, and for long enough. I will plead on your behalf to our patron and the others to be released from your pledge.
And so shall I.
And I. And I. Because you've helped us. Though I do not trust the dead. Your stench of rot disgusts me.
Okay. Now we can activate this pile of rubble. To head on further. Loading screens are fairly long. Hoping it's not too bad. I recorded episode 5 a few days ago, and I've started recording... let's see what...
I smell men ahead. The ghost leads us into a trap.
You wish to go to the hold in Acheron. This way will lead us without delay.
To Acheron or to our deaths?
Leave the ghost be, sister. He's one of us. Trust him. Words are wind. Blood is binding.
Wendaru's right about the presence of men. We're not the only ones taking the tunnels. There are dozens of recent tracks here. Maybe other members of the guild escaped the swords of the lion and are down here with us.
I feel my blood itching. The patrons are in trouble. We must get to the hold for new orders. But caution is wise considering recent events. Denzel?
Yes, my dear.
Scout ahead. See if you can find an alternate route.
Why, of course.
Okay. I will explain that myself, thank you. Point I made earlier, I am now recording in 1080p. Before I was playing in 1600 by 900 and recording in 720p. So that kind of didn't look so good. Which is why I changed it now to 1080p. It means that in more intense sequences, when the file size gets the bitrate of the file basically gets too high.
I'm bored with this waiting.
Yes, thank you. I'll move you around a little so you keep quiet. It means it'll essentially maybe drop below 30 FPS. If you find that too noticeable, please tell me and I'll go back to slightly less quality, but having it not be so choppy. Currently it looks like I'm getting consistent 30, but my experience tells me that's not gonna last. Also, Thordal commented finally. Well, hey, so I hope you keep enjoying, and if you have any input you wish to share, feel free to. And now, let's keep heading out. I'll probably do maybe 3 episodes today. As I'm recording episode 6 and episode 5 has been released, so I'm trying to stay closer to my releases. I also wanted to show you actually, we've got a bunch of level ups which we can do, and the group management thing, I almost forgot. Nokka, I'll improve her self-heal, which improves the quantity of health that is drained and increases the healing on activation. So I gain 100 additional HP and my health drain goes from 100 to 150% of attack damage. Very nice. Denzel is not currently an active member of our squad, but I'm increasing his Whirlwind of the God Rat. This allows him to destroy mana when attacking, essentially making life more difficult for casters. Nella, you have a skill point which I'll put into the healing, which now heals for 50 HP more. It still takes a long time to cast, so it's inferior to Wendaru's healing, but she has mana regen and Wendaru doesn't. Speaking of which, I'm increasing Bloody Feast, so that actually I'm changing Sacred Feast to Bloody Feast, which allows me to feast on my enemies. They gain health from that, but as I said, I'm mostly using this on enemies that are at full health, so it's not really a disadvantage healing them if they are already at full health. And finally, Leglorus doesn't have any skill points yet. He has Death Wish. This is a damage over time against an enemy, and if that enemy dies before the Death Wish runs out, then it is a very nice explosion for 800 magic damage. It's quite good, and it only affects enemies, so I don't have to worry about getting my own guys out of range. And Punishment of the Cursed, which is a 400 damage magic projectile. And similar to the healing, to the Star of Vitality on Wendiru, it hits the first unit it comes into contact with, basically. So it could hit my own guys. And biography. Leglorus joined the Goldmongers Guild by choice through a sacred vow. His rust-free link is golden, but his ghost continues to serve the guild faithfully even after his death. He was a legendary member of the first Wieldsword Corps, back in the days when a man or woman's word was worth more than a pile of blood-stained contracts. A mage of tremendous power, who has forgotten more spells than most arch-wizards remember, Leg's worst memory is of the day the patrons asked him to put a link on his wrist. He felt insulted that they should contract him, a loyal servant who had protected their interests since the days they expanded out of Cadwallon. Leg signed the contract anyway, swearing to uphold it longer than any other. His dual vow, made with blood and magic, seems to have acted as a curse, and his spirit refuses to pass on whilst a patron remains. So essentially he was a loyal servant, but they wanted him to sign a contract anyway, and he's now bound to this world even though he died long ago. And group management, basically I only have 4 people available at any given time. And I can choose now from our 5 people that are technically in the squad, which 4 I want to actively play. So I could say swap these guys, swap these guys around, or I could put Leglorus back on the bench. They gain experience even if they're not playing actively, I believe, so that's nice. Also one thing, it says tank, fighters and support. It doesn't actually matter, this only influences which position they're standing in when I move them around. There's no inherent increased likelihood of the tank being attacked, for example. It's not like the support guy somehow gets more healing or whatever. These are pretty much just positioning, and not very important. As you can see, it's just when I move the knocker standing in front, my healer standing in the back, but... yeah, okay. So here we have a bunch of new enemies, and I try to pause myself, thus unpausing the automatic pause. Now, we have a Reaper. He can shoot a projectile which reduces healing, which is the purple one you see right now. Not too good, but it's fine. I'll try to move Wendiru and Nella out the way. Knocker now has it, but it only lasts 15 seconds. I'm sure we'll be okay. And the Reaper Priest has already used Weakening Laceration, which reduces Knocker's physical armor. So they all piled up on the tank. The Reaper Priest also has a healing, which is immediate cast, so I can't interrupt it, and it heals 350, which isn't too much. Finally, we have some skeletons in armor, and all they have is a standard attack, nothing too worrying. Okay, I wouldn't mind ganging up on the Reaper Priest. So why don't we do a Death Wish? Wendiru, start attacking. Nella, why don't you hit it with a Lightning Bolt? And Knocker, I wouldn't mind if you activated your self buffs. And we're about to see the devastating effect of the Death Wish. As you saw, that dealt a huge amount of damage. Now Knocker. I think this guy needs a taunt. Nella, we could take another little lightning on the Reaper. Okay, this has recast, so why don't we just put a death sphere thing, a, what's it called? Punishment of the Curse that way? Very nice, now let's all just gang up on these guys. Shouldn't be a very long battle that way. Leglorus, honestly, Death Wish is not going to be much use now. And it has a bit of a cast time, so sometimes the enemy dies before it's finished casting, and we only have one skeleton left to deal with. Okay, Hollow and Vengeful Amulet. I don't usually check for these little things, but we are almost done with the recycling, so maybe this will be enough? Yep. Okay, Physical Armor, Magic Damage, Healing Received, Max HP and Dodge. You see what I mean about the kind of multitude of stats, but this is, aside from the magic damage, which is not very good on Nokka, all of these stats are useful for a tank, so I'm giving it to Nokka. And we now have increased magic damage. Yeah, I'm giving this to Nella. All I'm losing is physical damage, and she doesn't do physical damage, so that's okay. How about you? Losing physical damage is pointless. I could go with this on Wendoru, but it's kind of doesn't seem to be very useful, so I'll just put it away. And I'm now definitely very certain that I lost a rather, I missed a hidden chest earlier on. It was hidden behind the waterfall. I found it the first time I played through it, but then I apparently forgot it was there. Okay, new enemies. Skeleton Mage, Demonic Satyr, and Reaper Priest. We've already seen the Priest. The Satyr, he can do Explosion of the Shadows, which fires a slow-moving projectile, but it's homing, so it'll definitely find its target, and then it does a little area of effect. And Chaotic Sacrifice, as he approaches death, he basically explodes, which can be interrupted. Well, it can be interrupted, but if we manage to get him immobilized... Actually, I think it can be interrupted, I'm not entirely certain, but if we interrupt it, or if we immobilize him shortly before his death, he can't activate it. And finally, the Skeleton Mage, he has Hand of Death, takes a long time to cast, and fires a projectile. This will basically fly in a straight line again, it can be manually avoided. And after that he will immediately cast 2 Fingers of Death, which is his second spell. Faster to cast, and similarly does 500 magic damage. It's kind of, you want to interrupt the Hand of Death, so he doesn't get the 2 casts of Fingers of Death. Because they're all fairly nasty. Now, for the moment, though, I think I will attack the... Well, why not? Let's go for the Priest, and I'll put Nella close to the Skeleton Mage. So this guy's doing the Explosion of Shadows, which will hit its target for certain, so I'm not too keen on interrupting it. I will interrupt this Hand of Death, though.
By my will!
Now, Nokka. Beef yourself up a little bit, and Leglorus, we could just put on a Death Wish on that thing.
Body, mind, be mended.
I'm not certain it will be quick enough. I've definitely encountered situations where the damage didn't trigger. But maybe we can help it with a lightning. Okay, never mind, that worked. And we have 2 new skeletons in armor just popping up, so Nella, you could move away a little maybe? Maybe here, I guess? And now Nokka. Attack that one maybe. Skeleton Mage is approaching death. He is fairly well protected against magic, so I'm not going to lightning him. Okay, like Laura's gained a level. Let's just get Knocker back on her feet, and now I'm just going to bloody feast the skeleton. It's at full health, so I'm just getting 3. And Death Wish is still on recharge, sadly. I can do the punishment of the cursed, however.
And you die.
Okay. So during combat the frame rate definitely drops noticeably. As I said, let me know if it's unbearable and I will change it. I'm also getting a new hard drive soon, so maybe that'll help. As it is right now, I'm actually recording to the same hard drive the game is running on and the operating system is running on, so that's not ideal, obviously. Okay, there's a chest back here, which is obviously going to be trapped. So I'm putting Knocker here, like Laura's here, Nella here, and Wenderu, who is... she's important, but at the beginning of a fight, when all my guys are still at full health, it's not so vital to have her close. There we go. I can pick these up even in pause mode. Perfectly fine. And Knocker, I wouldn't mind if you just stayed back here. Okay, this guy is doing the explosion of shadows, which is hitting its target for certain. Wenderu, get away from the rest of the crew. We have a priest, a skeleton, mage, and a reaper back here. So I definitely want Nella in range for her knockdown, like so. And Wenderu... No, actually, Wenderu, you're still waiting for that projectile, aren't you? There it is, it can't be avoided, so I won't try. Now, Wenderu, go here. Knocker, buff yourself.
Is that the best you can do, mortal?
Yeah, I'll keep Knocker here to have the skeletons in armor and the satyr occupied. And the rest of my guys, I think I'll attack the Reaper here. Now, oh, Laglora's actually, as I thought, he gained a level up. He now has Fearful Puppet. Takes 5 seconds to cast, and then it inflicts fear on a target. Again, this is a control effect, and a unit that is under the effects of fear will just run around aimlessly, doing nothing. So, again, this basically shuts down a target for 5 seconds. Can be useful. I prefer immobilization because I actually have control over where the enemy is. Basically, he can't move anymore. But this could still be handy. I didn't use it that much in my first playthrough, but we'll see. I don't even know if I'll play Lagloris very much. Okay, this worked. Knocker gained a level, very nice. Now why don't we focus on this Reaper Priest? No, only the bottom 3. This guy's doing Explosion of the Shadows on Wenderu again. Probably can't get in fast enough to interrupt that. So Wenderu... yeah, I guess I want you to get away. Oh, as you gain a level. I think next I'll take on the Skeleton Mage on these guys. Knocker, taunt that guy back, please. Who does Chaotic Sacrifice? It's a... That's his explosion on death. Oh, Knocker might be close. Okay, she survives. Wenderu. Get a little closer again. That fireball. Oh darn. Yeah, I think Nella's gonna take... Nope. That was fine, okay. I didn't see the fireball was still flying, so... Nella, take that one out. Leglorus Death Wish on that. Wendoru attack it. Nella lightning it. Knocker, you can taunt that guy back. I know this is one of the fights I died the first time through. And we will definitely see some deaths later on. Dark Ring and Cruel Ring. Now, let's use the opportunity to save. Luckily that goes really swiftly. And we have a magic amulet. More magic damage is useless on her. I don't think anyone needs this. Physical armor and magic damage. It's kind of a bad combo. Ring. Magic armor, healing received, and critical hit multiplier. It would increase the healing received, but I think I'm okay. I'll just give it to Denzel, I guess. And just because I don't have any other rings, I will give it the Ring of the Ancients, the one from Denzel, to Leglorus, who also needs earrings. I don't have any, and he needs a relic. Increased magic damage and healing done. That would be interesting on Wendoru as well. Okay, I do not want to lose the mana regeneration on Nella, so that's why I'm not giving her items that might be considered better. No, I do not need healing done on Leglorus. He doesn't do any healing. At least not in his current state. Oh, but this is very good for Wendoru. Magic damage, healing done, HP max. Nope. Nope, nope. Okay. And we've got skill points to spend, so I'll do this episode. Self-heal, which now increases Knocker's attack speed as well by 25% for 20 seconds, which is nice. It's a very, very strong skill when you develop it. Denzel, he didn't participate, he still gained XP, so Whirlwind of the Godrats now gives him SP, so stamina points, while he attacks. 5% of his attack damage he gains as stamina, which kind of slightly counteracts the fact that he has severely reduced regeneration. Nella could get you up to here, I believe, but instead let's now I have to choose. I want to improve the heal, and I have to choose between making it a channeling spell, which costs me, if I channel it for the full duration, it costs me 200 MP and heals for 500 health. Or I can make it so that Nella also gains the effects, and I'm choosing this because I do not like the channeling. The healing is stronger, 400 HP versus 500. But I have to channel it all the way through, which means if I have to interrupt the channeling, I don't get the full healing. It is instantaneous, so it instantly starts healing, but also she's kind of unavailable for 10 seconds and I might need her for an interrupt. So let's just improve it that way. Wendoru, I will improve your Star of Vitality, I think. 25% increase in healing. And Leglorus has his last skill unlocked, Astral Burn, reduces magic armor of the target and destroys MP. Again, this can be fairly useful. However, I'd say we can call this an episode. Let me know in the comments what you think about the quality, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye!